Okay, good evening. Welcome, everyone. This is the Marion City Council meeting for Thursday, June 8th, 2017. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Draper.
Here.
Ms. Etzel.
Present.
Mr. Spinks.
Present.
Mayor Abowasley.
Here.
Mr. Brandt.
Here.
Mr. Nicholson. Ms. Pazor.
Thank you. This time we have a moment of silence. Thank you. At this time, we have citizen presentations. Is there anyone here to address the council on any topic? I think, oh. Go ahead. Ladies first. Go ahead, Renee. Thank you. Please, if you're going to address the council, please come to the microphone, say your name and address, and also see Beth afterwards, or you can do it beforehand, I guess. Yeah. Just fill out the card so we have the right spelling of your name. Thank you.
Okay, hi, Renee Gedelia, 797 Oak Park Circle. I'm here tonight representing the Linn-Mar School Board, and just wanted to make the official announcement that we did get enough petition signatures to move forward with our bond referendum vote in September. I would just encourage everyone to look at our website. We'll have a number of communications meetings, opportunities for people to come out, ask questions, and big important vote in September for Marion and certainly the Linn-Mar School District. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Sir?
Thank you. Dave Verhelli. I represent the Hunters Ridge Homeowners Association and the Hunters Ridge Development Project. About a month ago, we were notified about the sidewalk project that would be impacting the land north of the bridge over Indian Creek on LaCour Road. There's a couple things that we would like to have the council consider, and one of them is that we don't think that the sidewalk project is timed appropriate because of the bridge over Indian Creek. If you've driven that bridge, you'll know that it's not very safe for pedestrians or bicyclists to cross right now. Adding the sidewalks at this time will increase the traffic flow onto that bridge and therefore create a risk to the pedestrians and bikers that are using that bridge. We would ask the council consider having that sidewalk project at the time that the bridge is in budget and been approved by engineering for installation. The second thing we'd like to do is have the council consider having the sidewalk project itself reviewed to see if we could have a path on one side of the road rather than both sides of the road. The plan that we heard about a month ago was a 4-foot path on one side, 8 feet on the other side. Our area of the town is a low density housing area. We don't have the same amount of traffic as they do in the avenues, so we would think that we'd be able to do this. I think we can get both sides of the road to agree to participate in the cost of this project, so we're not forcing an expense on one side and not the other. There are other representatives of homeowners associations here, and I can't speak for them, but just informal discussions say that that has been a very popular among the associations impacted by this project. So those are the two things that we'd ask the council to do. First of all, delay the sidewalk project until the bridge is addressed. And the second thing is to consider a 8-foot path on one side of the road and not a 4 on one and 8 on the other.
And you said there is support, if it was only on one side, for both sides to participate?
There's been informal support. I think we could help with that. This project's been moved forward quite a bit on the agenda, so we haven't had a lot of time. It's been less than a month since we first heard about the project.
Well, just so you're aware that we're not voting on anything tonight on
Okay.
it. It's just a discussion tonight.
Okay.
So, no? We're voting on the project calendar, but
Yeah, the project calendar is on the agenda for tonight. that will provide for the
But-
distribution of plans and specifications for letting.
But that means that we're approving the plan as presented with both sidewalks on both sides?
Yeah,
That's
that could
not-
be amended if council would like to do that, though.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else? Any questions for Mr. Verhillen? None?
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Sir?
Good evening. My name is Rich Smith. I'm at 5190 Triple Crown Drive, Champions Estate, just east of Hunters Ridge on Lucor. I am for the project, hearing that there might be a way to amend it and have one single path that's properly wide would be of interest as well. I also represent the Lynn County Trails Association. Presently on Winslow on the other side, you have the project under development with a sidewalk on one side and a path on the other. Champions Estate, we moved in 2010. There's been 30 single-family homes built there, with Champions Estate 4 just being released, and you're starting to pave artesian. Many children, and my wife and I bike, we walk. You will be completing this to the bridge. It will be less than 2/10 of a mile to connect up to the new Lucor Road and on up to 35th. My wife and I can bike over 30 miles in Marion, and I have this Lucor Road 9/10 of a mile to get to a safe place. Paving to the bridge, yes, the bridge is narrow, and there's a little less than 2/10 of a mile left to pave. As a homeowner, the value of my home and the neighborhood and desirability is livability. I have my Blue Zone t-shirt with me as well. Lynn County Trails will tell you that having a proper trail, an attractive trail, makes houses very attractive. And the thought of being able to ride my bike from the very northeast part of Marion all the way to downtown Marion. Keisha Billings, your trails person, tells me you're paving all the way west. You can get to Collins. You'll be able to go south on Indian Creek Trail, all the way down the Seymour Trail, and all the way to the Cedar Lake within a few short years. The possibility and probability of saying your town has a north-south connector full length is an appealing thing that I want you to consider. Again, hearing that there is support for one path, make sure it's not a narrow sidewalk, make sure it's a wide pathway, I can support that as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments to the council? Okay, we'll proceed.
And I want to make a plug for next Wednesday. We have our next Wednesday in the ward, and it's in my ward, so I want to make a plug for it. It'll be at Wilkins School next Wednesday, June the 14th at 5:30, I believe. I believe it is. So, but anyway, come out and hear what's going on in Marion.
So the Wednesday in the ward is when city council and city staff members go into the actual wards and meet and hold a meeting with any interested citizens who come out to talk to them and ask questions. They provide information, have dialogue about particular issues that are affecting that particular ward, their neighborhoods. So it's a good time to interact with staff and council. We encourage everyone to attend those. So we have one a quarter in each of the wards. So this next one will be in Ward 2, and the next one will be in Ward 3, and then Ward 4. Okay.
Also want to make a plug for the Uptown Market. Come out. If you have an issue with any of the council or something going on, there'll be two of us at the library Saturday morning from 9:30 to 11:30. So I'll make a plug for that as well. So, Your Honor, I'll make a motion to approve the consent calendar, items 1 through 29, excluding number 18. This includes resolutions 26061 through 26083.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent calendar. as presented, items 1 through 29, excluding number 18, including resolutions numbers 26061 through 26083. Correct?
Right.
Discussion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. Motion passes.
Yes, Your Honor, this is number 18, a motion to receive and file correspondence regarding the Alburnett Road Extension Project submitted by Charles Knutson of 2835 24th Avenue. None of us have received that.
Second.
So it's been moved and seconded to receive and file correspondence regarding Alburnett Road Extension Project.
But, yeah, that wasn't in our packet, so we haven't seen that at all.
We'll have to get you one. It was received through administration, so I haven't seen it either.
Okay.
Yeah.
It just may have been inadvertently omitted, but
We'll get it to everybody.
Okay, so do we want to,
Should we table it to see it, or?
have you seen it?
No, I'm saying, should we table this?
Yeah, that's what I wondered.
Seen
Should we
it?
table this for now? And
Vote the motion, second down, I think.
so,
If you're willing to receive and file it, we will do a report at the next meeting.
yeah.
And you could see it between now and then. It's up to you, but
Well, yeah,
you just
we'll
receive
see
and
it
file
change whether or not you receive and file it.
No.
Or
Have to withdraw the motions.
so,
We can receive it and then just get it.
okay. Further discussion?
I've got it here, so Lon had it.
All those in favor of the motion to receive and file the correspondence, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. Okay, the motion passes. For this next segment of the agenda, I'll turn over the gavel to Mayor Pro Tem.
Mr. Brandt?
Yes, I make a motion to approve the consent calendar with Mayor Abouasley's abstention from voting and discussion regarding the following items as presented, which would be items 30 through 34, including resolutions 26084 through 26088.
Second?
It's moved and seconded. Discussion on these items? Nothing heard. All those in favor of the consent calendar, item 30 through 32, can signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Or 33, I'm sorry. 34. Everyone said aye? Okay.
Aye.
I'll get it. Motion passes. Back to you, Mayor.
You want me to do that one?
Go ahead.
Make a motion to approve ordinance number 17-11, amending Chapter 105 of the Solid Waste Ordinance and establishing base monthly collection fee at $14.50 and extra bag tags at $2. Final consideration.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. I think Mayor Pro Tem was the second. Moved and seconded to approve ordinance number 17-11, amending Chapter 105 of the Solid Waste Ordinance and establishing base monthly collection fees at $14.50 and extra bag tags at $2. This is the final consideration. Discussion?
You're still in contact with Cedar Rapids then on the next step they're talking?
In terms of the solid waste agency?
Yes.
Yeah, we keep constant contact with them regarding any fee changes.
Okay.
Further discussion? Okay, all those in favor of the motion to approve the final consideration of ordinance number 17-11, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no.
No.
We have one no, and the motion passes. Mr. Draper?
Yes, Your Honor, I have ordinance number 17-14, amending the code 162 of the Code of Ordinances and adopting the ICC Electric Code 2006 edition with amendments and the National Electric Code 2017 edition with amendments, providing penalties, second consideration.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded to approve ordinance number 17-14, amending Chapter 162 of the Code of Ordinances and adopting the ICC Electrical Code 2006 edition with amendments, and the National Electrical Code 2017 edition with amendments and providing penalties. Discussion?
Your Honor,
Yes, sir.
Ron was unavailable tonight, but he did pass on that they have not received any written or verbal complaints or concerns about the change.
Okay.
You know if there was a fee change on any of this, or you don't?
If there was a fee change, I'm pretty sure it would be addressed separately.
Yeah, okay. That's probably true.
Other discussion? Okay. All those in favor of ordinance number 17-14, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. Motion passes.
Your Honor, I move we suspend the rules and go to the third reading on ordinance 1714.
We're not able to do that because we don't have enough
We
people.
have 6 people.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Need him to be here.
I don't make that motion, Your Honor.
Motion dies for lack of a second and for being an impossible motion. Okay.
Okay. Your Honor, I move to approve ordinance number 17-12, amending Chapter 16.04 of the Code of Ordinances establishing load and weight limits on the Winslow Road Bridge over Indian Creek, County ID 57-221471, FHWA 221471, per the deficient bridge notification received. Final consideration.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve ordinance number 17-12, amending Chapter 66.04 of the Code of Ordinances, establishing load and weight limits on the Winslow Road Bridge over Indian Creek. Discussion. Okay, nothing? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. At this time, we have a public hearing regarding the 2017 Sidewalk Assessment Project. The public hearing is now open. Is there anything to say about it? Brief presentation or no? Have we heard it all? None? Okay. Is there anyone here to speak in favor of the sidewalk assessment project? None. Anyone here to speak against the sidewalk assessment project? Okay. The public hearing is now closed.
Yes, Your Honor. I move to approve Resolution 26089, accepting bids and awarding contract to Eastern Iowa Excavation and Concrete, LLC, regarding the 2017 Sidewalk Assessment Project in the amount of $58,324.09.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 26089, accepting bids and awarding contract to Eastern Iowa Excavating and Concrete, LLC, regarding the 2017 Sidewalk Assessment Project in the amount of $58,324.09. Discussion?
Tom, does that include any of the sidewalks that haven't been completed that you've been working on? Indian Creek Road and McGowan Boulevard?
No, I think we do those separate. We've been
Okay,
working
thank
on
you.
action. This is the work that engineering's been,
The Indian Creek Road sidewalk is in there.
One is, the
Part of
other
that.
two isn't.
Yeah.
yeah, we're still moving forward with those,
I see.
slowly but surely.
This project is on the 29th Street, east side of 29th Street, north of 10th Avenue.
Okay, further discussion? All those in favor of resolution number 26089, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. Motion passes. We have another public hearing regarding the 2017 RMAR Extension Project. The public hearing is now open. Anything that,
I'll just go quick, Your Honor. On May 30th, we did receive 6 sealed bids for this project, well below the estimated amount. Low bid was from Rachi Construction for that $329,618.65. We are recommending accepting and awarding the contract.
is there anyone here to speak in favor of the 2017 RMAR Extension Project? Okay, seeing none, is there anyone here to speak against the project? Okay, seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Mr. Brandt?
Your Honor, I make a motion to approve resolution number 26090, accepting bids and awarding contract to Rachi Construction Company Incorporated regarding the 2017 RMAR Extension Project in the amount of $329,618.65.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 26090, accepting bids and awarding contract to Rachi Construction Company, Inc. regarding the 2017 RMAR Extension Project in the amount of $329,618.65. Discussion?
Yes, Dan, how loaded up do we have Rachi on contracts this summer?
Oh, quite a bit. They tell us they're capable of performing, so.
Okay.
I think Dan mentioned Tuesday night how much under the estimate that is.
Yeah, it came in 62% of our estimate, so that puts it well within reasonable amount, I guess I'll put it that way.
Discussion? All those in favor of resolution number 26090, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. The motion passes.
Take this one. Make a motion to approve resolution number 26091, directing staff to proceed with the preparation of an ordinance regarding stormwater utility fees, Chapter 157.09 and 157.10 of the Marion Code of Ordinances.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 26091, directing staff to proceed with preparation of an ordinance regarding stormwater utility fees. Discussion?
Yes, Your Honor. I plan to try to make a motion and table this because we saw this Tuesday night, and to expect to vote on it on Thursday night is beyond what I can handle because it makes a vast difference in some of our larger commercial properties, including Linmar. And I would like to see a committee put together of Medco, someone from the chamber, and somebody from the council to go along and figure this out because it's enormous increases for the top 6 or 7 folks. And in addition to that, there's an increase on dwellings. I like for us not to do that. When I asked Tuesday night if the current amount of monies was supporting the current budget, I was told it was. So I think we need to move ahead, and I am planning on moving to table. It wouldn't hurt anything. You got to keep in mind Cedar Rapids is a city that has raised our garbage fees, that have raised our sewer outlets, and if we were more than competitive on commercial property with them, in my mind, it wouldn't hurt a bit. And with that in mind, I would like to table this ordinance until the 6th of July when we have a full council.
Is that motion?
That is a motion, sir.
I'll second it.
So it's been moved and seconded to table the motion. Discussion, Mr. Whitlow?
Yeah, Your Honor, this action only directs staff to do exactly what he's asking, to prepare it, go through the process of preparing that ordinance. We will have a hearing and 3 ordinance readings following the preparation of the ordinance. As discussed on Tuesday, we plan on putting together a committee doing a thorough study on what council wants within that ordinance. So this is only directing. Without this action, we would not move forward with committing staff time to developing an ordinance.
Till the 6th of July.
No, we have not. This does not commit us to any future.
So this is just directing staff to proceed with doing something about the issue.
Yeah, committing staff time to the development of an
So
ordinance.
which would include what Councilman Draper is suggesting, is that there would be a committee formed
Yes.
to look at options and.
As stated on Tuesday, we would like to get some council input on that development and how they want to go about doing that works for us.
Well, and so is it possible that the outcome of that committee work would be that to do nothing, or I think that's what are you saying that you don't want to have anything done?
Well, no, I'm just saying that from Tuesday to Thursday, what we were told Tuesday, there hasn't been time to digest that, and I didn't see a problem in delaying the directing staff to proceed for 2 weeks, and in which time they didn't mention a committee involving Medco and the other people Tuesday, and I'd like to see that. I'd like to see a financial statement of this particular division of our city to see if we're collecting enough money currently to support the stormwater runoff. I'd like to see comparables of what it would cost. We know the 6 big ones going to cost a lot of money. What about some of the smaller commercial properties? How is it going to affect it if we go to? And I don't think just because Cedar Rapids is increasing theirs is any reason for us to increase ours.
Isn't that part of the process of what the committee would be doing with staff, or
July 6th, yes.
you don't want it? You don't want to proceed with anything until July 6th.
No, I don't, because when we've given the staff to move forward on things, too often it comes back and we vote on it. I want time to digest and discuss it.
This directs staff to commit that time. We will not commit time because this is not in our strategic plan. We would not commit staff time to it unless council shows us support that they're interested in the preparation of an ordinance. So if you want to wait till that time, we will wait and start our process on June 6th then.
July 6th. Okay. I mean, is there an urgency to the matter, or?
Well, yes and no. Council has adopted a budget that included a 5% increase in it for fiscal year 18.
But some of the commercial properties is 70% increase.
Yeah, the basic plan calls for a 5% increase for the majority, all but those top 14. That's separate from the other. We typically go to follow what Cedar Rapids has done, and they've eliminated their cap, so we just proposed that within our presentation. That's not necessarily what we would recommend.
Okay, so the motion on the table is to table this motion. So any further discussion on tabling?
Am I to understand that there's a guarantee that there's going to be a committee formed, including Medco, the Chamber of Commerce, and some commercial property owners? Is that my guarantee?
There will be a committee and a study done. I won't guarantee who's going to be on it because I can't guarantee that they'll want to participate or not.
It will be someone other than a city employee?
Yes.
This would not be necessarily a because it's like preparation of an ordinance. There is already an ordinance, correct? It's just a proposal to modify a current ordinance that's in place, not to create a separate ordinance. Is that?
Yeah, if you want to split hairs.
'Cause
We always basically create a new ordinance.
Do you?
that-
Okay.
Yeah, we recodify and take one paragraph out and put the new one back in again.
Okay. All right.
Okay, further discussion on tabling the motion? Okay, we'll vote on whether or not you want to table this motion. So a yes vote would mean we're tabling it till July 6th meeting. A no vote would mean you're going to vote on it tonight. Okay? All those in favor of tabling the motion to approve resolution number 26091, directing staff to proceed with preparation of an ordinance regarding stormwater utility fees. If you're in favor of tabling, say aye.
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 All those opposed say no.
No.
So can we do a roll call vote, please? Deb, please.
Mr. Draper,
Aye.
Ms. Etzel,
No.
Mr. Spinks,
Yes.
Mayor Abou-Osley,
No?
Mr. Brandt,
No.
Mr. Nicholson.
No.
Fails.
Okay, so the motion to table has failed. So now we're back with the motion to approve the resolution. Any further discussion?
I guess the thing I would like to see out of it is, the top four that we had designated for those high fees is have some sort of, what do you want to call it, deferral for like a year or two so that they have time to digest these fees and not just throw it on them right away. And so that was my objection to it when we talked about it the other night, is that, a business needs at least 2 years to be able to swallow something like this. And so.
And that's why staff has put the motion on that they have. We would have typically gone to setting a public hearing for the ordinance at this point in time, but we put that deferral in place of the action by directing staff to prepare.
Yeah, and so that's something I would like to see in there. And then, like Mr. Draper said, having several people represented on the committee to, more than just a couple, maybe 4 or 5. So that's my concern on it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other discussion?
I don't have any, like I said, that's why I'm voting in favor to move forward with this, because I don't have any issues with taking a look at what currently is happening and the fees that are currently charged, and if we need to make modifications to that, whether it be lower some residential and adjust upwards some commercial, but whatever we do, taking a look at it's not going to hurt anything, in my opinion, to spend some time diving into it. And if we were to do something, obviously on the commercial side and increasing the limit, the cap, I would really push in favor of stair-stepping that however long we feel it's necessary. If we were going to make an increase, to stair-step it upwards, not all in 1 or 2 years if we were going to do that, because that would give the commercial owners plenty of time to adjust if we felt like that was needed. And that was the whole committee's determination, and the council agreed. I wouldn't be opposed to that, but I think it's worth taking a look at and revisiting this, because once you pass an ordinance at one point in time doesn't mean that you don't ever have a chance to revisit that. I think this is an opportunity for us to revisit and take a look at and what makes sense now. So.
Okay.
I'll make one more comment.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Kim.
Okay. Dan, I remember when we first set up this stormwater, wasn't there a committee? Because I remember nominating somebody for the committee. Is that committee still around, or?
We still have the list. I'm not sure. It was a citizens committee.
Oh.
I still have the names. I'm not sure if everybody's around or not. That's been quite a while ago, but
They don't meet
yeah.
anymore?
What's that?
They don't meet any longer? Or?
Actually, they do meet monthly, I think, with Steve, or yearly with Steve, but I think that's all. But we'll look at the mayor and whoever from council that wishes to be on that committee. We'll start there, and whoever else wants to be on it, we can sure do that.
Okay?
One more
Sir.
comment. One of the other things I wanted to say too is that, you know, the stormwater fee, the collection that we have, I would really like to see a large part of the money going to build out some of the older areas of Marion, to add storm sewers for them, because, I mean, Ryan and his folks are always out pumping out the sanitary sewer because of the overflow. And so I would really like to see the stormwater be used for building out some of that.
Joe, I would say that well over 2/3 to 3/4 of that right now goes to existing neighborhoods.
Yeah.
We do not use it for much other than reconstruction of projects. So I know we're spending about around 600,000 for reconstruction of storm sewers and drain tile within existing neighborhoods, and we're only collecting about, I think, around 900,000 a year. So.
But are we adding any more, you know, like to the neighborhoods that don't have them at all?
Yeah, we are. We're evaluating every neighborhood now as we go forward with projects to make sure that we have stormwater capacity.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay? Further discussion? All those in favor of resolution number 26091, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no.
No.
1 no. Motion passes.
Your Honor, I'd like to make a motion to receive and file and concur with staff a report regarding a request regarding driveway waiver for Matt Berger, Iowa Walls and Concrete, 5875 Linear Avenue.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded to receive, file, and concur with staff report regarding a request regarding driveway waiver by Matt Berger of Iowa Walls Concrete for the property at 5875 Linear Avenue, or adjacent to it. Yeah. Discussion.
Yeah, I'd just like to comment that a concurrence with staff report would be a complete denial of the request.
And his request is to waive the rule.
It'd be the waiver of the items within the memo.
Yeah.
I can get those if you'd like me to.
Oh, we talked about him about it on Tuesday, but
Yes.
anybody need further explanation on that? Any comments? What's everyone's thoughts on this?
I think I would support him getting a waiver on it. Just, I think it makes sense for his business, and it is considered a collector street, but I don't think it gets the traffic that would make this be an issue. And plus, like he said, he's out early in the morning and back in the evening, so it's not like it's constant trucks in and out.
True. But just consider that he may not be the tenant in that building forever. If it's waived forever for all users at all time. So that's the only consideration.
I have a point of information, Your Honor. If we were to vote no to concur with staff on this report, what would the next step be for Mr. Berger? I mean, what happens next, Dan?
When he was here on Tuesday, he showed you two options. The one option was a single drive, 40-foot wide, with I think it's up to 25-foot radiuses. Don't remember what the distance from the property line is. That option would be his option to build.
But that would come back to us then?
No, he would just have to meet the specifications required within the SUDAS specs.
But if we concur, we're agreeing that you're opposed to the driveway.
Yeah, by concurring, you would be denying the ability for him to build two driveways that are closer than spec, that they would be closer to the property line than spec. It would allow him for colored concrete within the widened sections within the right-of-way. That's the major points.
Does SUDAS limit the width of the driveway?
Yeah, 40 foot is the width.
It's just the maximum allowed.
We
Okay.
allow 40 foot wide on a collector.
Okay.
Other discussion? What's
Everybody understand?
He's also asking for a 45 foot wide driveway as well, so.
Two 45-foot driveways, or a total of driveway length that would be 45 foot?
No,
together?
actually, the spec is 45. He's providing for two smaller ones that would total more than the 45.
Okay.
I'd ask again, Your Honor, if we don't concur with staff on this, then, Dan, something would come back to us on the driveways.
It only would if you would request it. Otherwise, he would come in for a driveway permit. The permit would require that he meet the current SUDAS specifications.
And that would come back.
No, that's a staff action. Waiver of the spec is council's action.
How do we do that?
Does that answer your question?
No.
What's your question?
Well, I want him to have his driveway. How do we do that?
Then
We concur here, we say, no, you
We
can't.
vote no on this then.
You vote no on this.
Vote no
Then
on
what
it.
happens, though, and that's what I'm asking, how does he come back with one of his two plans?
If the motion fails, we would allow him to meet his request.
He would get his waiver.
That's all I needed. Thank you.
Right. If the motion fails, doesn't the council have to actually vote to waive?
Yes, you're actually correct there.
We'd have to have another
You'd have to have
resolution.
another resolution to do that.
Actually waiving the,
Yeah, we would put
Standard.
on the next council meeting an action to waive the
Yeah.
SUDAS specifications. You're correct.
okay. That answer your question?
Yes. Thank you.
Sorry, I missed that.
I knew we'd figured it out. Yeah.
Okay. Other discussion?
I'm struggling on this one a little bit because he's been been there for quite a while, and he owns all the way down to the corner. And that's why, yes, on Tuesday I was, asking the question about the timing. It's a construction pretty much outfit where the trucks come in and come out at the different times than the Linmar buses coming through there. That's why I was very concerned about the timing and how many trucks. It's not customers going in there. It's very limited probably to their trucks. And I'm thinking that he has, for a long time, has been thinking about expansion. That's why he's owned all that property and has purchased that property for some time and for expansion purposes. And that's the piece that I'm struggling with, because that's, and I understand, because, to be able to have a couple of different buildings that he's proposed, and be able to get back to the buildings, I totally understand that. And it's just, and I was very concerned about the traffic, and if it's different timing, I'm leaning toward concurring with staff, not concurring, but going against staff and approving the waiver because of, how long he's been there, planning an expansion, and then it's not interfering, especially with the bus traffic coming through there, but I understand your point too, Nick, that it may not always be there, I understand that too, but
Yeah.
getting into that business, but.
I would say too, up to a year ago when we approved the new SUDAS rule, he could have done it. Right? Wasn't it like less than a year ago?
True.
Isn't that recently?
I think it's been longer than that, but recently, yes.
Yeah, recently.
Oh.
That it would have been allowed.
Before the last approval.
Some of the things he's asking for would have been allowed. Not all things would have been allowed, no.
The big things.
The colored concrete in the right-of-way would not have been allowed. We would have probably allowed two driveways.
We would have allowed two driveways. I think that's maybe the big thing, is that to be able to configure the property with the number of buildings you wanted. Okay. Other discussion or questions? Okay. So we have the motion to receive, file. Well, if people vote no on this, Dan, then we won't receive and file.
Probably should just to amend it to not to take out the concurral and just to receive and file. And then we would next meeting we would put on a motion to waive.
Approve the waiver. Okay, anyone willing to make the amendment?
I'd like to make a motion to amend this proposal to just to receive and file the request for a driveway waiver from Berger Iowa Walls Concrete at 5875 Linear Avenue.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to amend the motion so that it is only to receive and file the request regarding driveway waiver. Okay? Discussion?
So now we're just, the yes vote is just to receive and file.
Yeah. A discussion on receiving, on amending the motion.
Sure, yeah. Okay.
Okay, all those in favor of amending the motion so that it is limited to receiving and filing the request, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. Okay, the motion passes. Now we have an amended motion to receive and file the request regarding the driveway waiver. Further discussion?
So the motion then is
Just receive and file.
without the concurrence.
Right, receiving and
Okay.
filing the request only.
Okay.
And staff will put together a resolution for the next council meeting where it's for waiver, and that can be discussed at that time.
Yeah, we'll specify what the waivers are and have a site plan for you to approve.
All those in favor of the motion to receive and file the request regarding driveway waiver, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. Okay, the motion passes.
Okay, Your Honor, I make a motion to approve the project calendar regarding the 2017 Lucor Road Reconstruction Project as follows. A, motion to retain the city manager as project manager regarding the 2017 Lucor Road Reconstruction Project. B, resolution number 26092 approving resolution of necessity regarding the 2017 Lucor Road Reconstruction Project. C, resolution number 26093 ordering preparation of detailed plans, specifications, notice of hearing and letting, notice to bidders, form of contract, and estimate of costs regarding the 2017 Lucor Road Reconstruction Project. D, resolution number 26094 approving and adopting final plans, specifications, notice of hearing and letting, notice to bidders, form of contract, and estimate of costs regarding the 2017 Lucor Road Reconstruction Project.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve project calendar regarding the 2017 Lucor Road Reconstruction Project, which includes the motion to retain the city engineer as project engineer, the resolution number 26092 approving the resolution of necessity regarding the reconstruction project, resolution number 26093 ordering preparation of detailed plans, specifications, notice of hearing and letting, notice to bidders, form of contract, and estimate of costs, and resolution number 26094 approving and adopting final plans, specifications, notice of hearing and letting, notice to bidders, form of contract, and estimate of costs. Discussion. Any discussion?
Well, is this the total plan for road construction, sidewalks, and the whole thing?
This is everything.
This is the whole thing, right?
Yes, that includes the prepared plans as certified and held by the city clerk right now, which includes an 8-foot trail on the east side and a 4-foot trail on the west side.
Okay.
This mainly sets the letting date and so forth. I'm a little at a quandary right now, but I think what you would have to do would be to amend item D to provide for any deferrals or changes you want made in the final plans. So you could approve A through C and then amend D to provide for those changes.
Okay. Is there any discussion on any of these, any of the subsections? I suppose specifically on D, on the sidewalk issue? We've heard from a number of people. Anybody have any thoughts on?
I'll just say I think I'm for having the sidewalks on both sides, the way it's proposed, and go all the way down to the bridge, and then here in the future get that bridge to have the sidewalks along the bridge, reconstruct the bridge however we need to do it, and then connect into the rest of Lucor to get the community connected to the rest, especially if, like Tom said Tuesday, if there's going to be 80 acres right there that's going to start next year getting platted, connect into it.
Any other discussion?
I guess I'm for continuing on with the sidewalks because while the city's there working on it, there's several things that will be done that, just as a sidewalk project by itself wouldn't get done. And so I think, it'll actually cost them less money to go ahead and do it now while we're there reconstructing. So, and this has been in the plans for a long time to put these sidewalks in. So I think now is the time to do it.
It is possible to spread out the cost, though, do it as an assessment project, right? I think the city manager has said that's possible.
That typically would not be in this case, but I'm sure council could easily provide for that. I'm not sure how we move forward on the developers agreements. Dave, Tom, do you have a comment to that?
Well, I think there's two things going on here. You're approving the project calendar for the project. That includes everything, including the sidewalks. Really, the question with these folks is who's going to pay for those sidewalks. They have their agreements that they're going to pay for the installation of sidewalks. I think our position is sidewalks need to go in regardless of who's going to do it, whether it be the city's 100% cost or whether there's a share with the homeowners. I think staff's position is put them in. The agreements that I've had drafted and shared with at least the association presidents and some of the treasurers is who's going to pay for it. I think that's the question. I mean, I think you can go ahead with your letting Dan do it, getting ready for the bids, but in the end, we'll have something at a future meeting, an agreement, hopefully with most of these folks that will say, yeah, we'll be responsible for our 4 inches, 4 foot wide sidewalk, and we'll pay the share based on the estimates we have. But that'll be an agreement at a future meeting, probably in the next 2 weeks.
So this really isn't about who pays for the sidewalks.
I don't think this is about the project as a whole. I think there's going to be a separate motion coming forward about the payment of them.
I think there would be a separate motion to address a possible waiver of those costs, but the agreements they have signed say that at the time of construction they will pay. Mm-hmm. So I think there would be a opportunity to defer those costs to the city.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. The agreement I was speaking about is we were going to just draft an agreement. The agreement says they're going to pay for it, but the agreement we're drafting is just they'll pay for it at the completion for the 4 inch, 4 foot wide, as opposed to typically they're on the hook for 100% of the cost. It's labor, it's grading, everything. We're removing some of those responsibilities because we're doing all the work out there.
Or they would only pay for the concrete.
Only paying for the concrete at that 4 and 4 ratio. Yeah. And that's the agreement we would like to move forward here in the near future, so they know what they're responsible for. They have a number that they're going to be responsible for.
Yeah.
So would it be the payment would be the same as if it was a sidewalk assessment?
I'm sorry?
The same type of payment if it was a sidewalk assessment?
No, it's a whole different program.
But I mean, it's the same. They would be paying for the same amount that if what
I don't know,
they're
I'd
paying
have to
for.
ask Dan on the.
I think we're kind of proposing that they would only pay for the concrete, which is the same as our sidewalk assessment program.
That's what I'm
Like we
asking.
talked on Tuesday,
Yep.
yes. I think that's the direction we're moving. Currently, the developer's agreement is a little less specific than that.
Right.
I think what we would, if the agreements are signed, they would be accepting the responsibility. If they're not signed, then the council would have to pass a resolution of necessity, which would kick in, there's a required payment that would be essentially the agreement, or an assessment procedure would start with those that did not want to proceed with paying per the agreement. So, in other words, if the agreements come in, it's just paid with the agreement. The ones that don't come in, there would be a resolution back to the city council for a resolution of necessity to require the payment to be made. And if they still don't want to do it, then it would be an assessment project.
Okay, other discussion?
I fundamentally always struggle with any deferral of sidewalks at any time. I mean, fundamentally, because I've seen all too often out there that there's areas that have been deferred for quite some time, and they're, have then been deferred again, and then been deferred again, and I struggle with that. That was something that it was designed to be sidewalks, and that was and then you need to put, in my opinion, I think you need to put them in. And I think at this point in time, personally, the cost is going to be no cheaper than it is today. And eventually we'll have the connection there. The bridge will be replaced, it will be in, and so fundamentally I'm not in favor of sidewalk deferrals at all, because eventually they're going to be there, and we're going to need them. And you go around town, there's different places that have been deferred, and now we're going to be going back through and asking people to put them in now, and it's something that adds more work to everybody, and it's more costly when you do smaller sections and you're not doing it at the same time. This is an opportunity to get it done at a cheaper cost, and so I would fundamentally, I'm not in favor of any deferrals for sidewalks personally. So
The opportunity would still be there to talk about some kind of cost sharing or spreading out the payments or something like that, or
Yeah, that's the agreement I'm going to bring forward. Is right now it's set up as just a 4-inch, 4-foot wide. But if the council wants to do some other, work with the associations, if they want to work out another payment plan or another options, that's between them and the council. And they'll have that opportunity to speak a little further on it. In the next meeting or so, once I finish up the agreements.
I think, when the subdivision went in, there may have been a compelling argument, but when you think about it, we have a lot of rural or new subdivisions going in on the edge of development, and they're putting in sidewalks that go nowhere, but it's part of a bigger plan that eventually they're going to connect up with other sidewalks, but you can't wait until everything's built out and then put in sidewalks to make that are going to be connected. They go in piecemeal all over the city all the time because they're put in when it makes sense, and then eventually you have a connected network where you have to make small steps of progress, and that whole area is becoming urbanized. It's just, to the north, there's going to be development out to the north. And there is, even if the safety of that section, even if you get to the bridge and you can't go any further on the sidewalk, just the safety in that section is a safer section now, because there's a sidewalk in that section and people aren't having to go on the street. I think that there's a compelling reason for the sidewalks to go in, but I would be willing to look at and support some kind of a stretched out payment plan or something like that. So it's not, overly burdensome all at once. Other thoughts?
I cannot discuss because I must abstain, Your Honor.
Okay.
I don't know if I would be in favor of, making a payment plan. We don't do that for anybody else in the city when we put a sidewalk in their street. And yes, it's going to be a higher amount, but it's also going to be spread out between how many people are in that association. Where you might have $1,000 bill to one homeowner, but we don't give them, or do we? Maybe we do, and I'm not aware.
Yeah, our assessment program, we do allow a payment plan over 10 years.
Okay, well then.
It does include interest on that payment,
Sure,
but
sure.
yes.
I guess then I would say we would do the same that we would offer anyone else in the city.
I think we have to think of the big picture and what's in the best interest of the entire city, and it's, and we're also thinking 10 and 20 and 30 years down the road, in all our decision making. So, other discussion?
And two, and that stretch is going to be widened, it's going to be urbanized. And what I would really hate is, we put this road in and it's graded, ready for sidewalks at some point in time, and then 10 years down the road, whatever, and then you're going out there and tearing up stuff, and getting ready to put sidewalks in at a later date, tearing up stuff after it has already been, done, and then go back in at a later date, which number one, it's more costly, and number two, it's disrupting stuff that you don't necessarily need to be disrupting, if you would put it in at one time. So.
Okay. We ready to vote? All those in favor of approving the motion to approve the project calendar regarding the 2017 Lucor Road Reconstruction Project, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. All those abstaining?
Aye.
Okay, we have one abstention. The rest are ayes. Motion passes.
Yes, Your Honor, this is a motion to approve the project calendar regarding the 2017 31st Street Rehabilitation Project as follows. A, retain city engineer as project engineer regarding the 2017 31st Street Rehabilitation Project. Resolution 26095 approving resolution of necessity regarding the 2017 31st Street Rehabilitation. Resolution 26096 ordering preparation for detailed plan specification, notice of hearing and letting, notice to bidders, form contract, and estimate of costs regarding the 2017 31st Street Rehabilitation Project, and Resolution 26097 approving and adopting final plan specification, notice of hearing and letting, notice to bidders, form of contract, and estimate of costs regarding the 2017 31st Street Rehabilitation Project.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the project calendar regarding the 2017 31st Street Rehabilitation Project, including the motion to retain the city engineer as project engineer. Resolution 26095 approving the resolution of necessity. Resolution 26096 ordering preparation of detailed plans, specifications, notice of hearing and letting, and notice to bidders, and form of contract, and estimate of costs. And Resolution 26097 approving and adopting final plans, specifications, notice of hearing and letting, notice to bidders, form of contract, and estimate of cost. Discussion? Nothing?
Dan, did you say that the street's going to be closed for sure then? Was that?
Yeah, I did tell Joe. Yeah, we will be. The contractor will have the option to close the street completely. They may only do it half at a time, but we have provided for a detour and the ability to close the street.
Gotcha. Okay.
Other discussion? All those in favor of the motion to approve the project calendar for the 2017 31st Street Rehabilitation Project, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. Okay, the motion passes.
Your Honor, I make a motion to approve ordinance number 17-15, amending the Marion Code of Ordinances regarding a request to rezone property from Lynn County A and A1 rural restricted to I-2 general industrial for property located west and east of 44th Street and south of 3rd Avenue in Marion, Lynn County, Iowa. City of Marion Eco-Industrial Park Phase 2, second consideration.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve ordinance number 17-15, amending the Marion Code of Ordinances regarding the request to rezone property from Lynn County A to A1 and A1, rural restricted to I-2 general industrial for the property located west and east of 44th Street and south of 3rd Avenue in Marion. Second consideration. Discussion. Okay. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. And the motion passes. At this time, I will again turn over the gavel to
Your
Mayor
Honor.
Pro Tem.
Do you want to move this forward now that we have Dave here?
And now that Dave's here, I move we suspend the rules and go to
Thank
the
you.
third consideration on this item.
Okay.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to suspend the rules and move to third and final consideration on ordinance number 17-15. Discussion?
Any comments from anyone, Dan, or Tom, or anything on this?
No, nope.
Okay, thanks.
All those, any other discussion? All those in favor of suspending the rules and approving the final consideration of ordinance 17-15, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. The motion passes, so the final consideration is approved. So at this time, I'll turn over the gavel to the Mayor Pro Tem for the next few items.
Mr. Nicholson.
Yes, I would like to recommend approval of resolution number 26098, authorizing the mayor to execute the purchase agreement, or Pro Tem mayor, to the purchase agreement with the Genesis Equities LLC regarding the sale of the owned property located between 25th Street and 29th Street and south of 8th Avenue, north of 5th Avenue, described shown below, in exchange for the receipt of fee title to acquisition plat parcel from Genesis Equities LLC.
Second.
Moved and seconded. You want to do a little discussion on this to show the below? I was looking, Dave, where do you see the below?
I know. Well, sometimes when these, this is a pretty complicated purchase agreement, and so we did have legal prepare the resolution after Tuesday's meeting. So what you saw on what you did see on Tuesday is different than what you're seeing tonight. Nothing has changed by virtue of the documentation, except for the resolution and the, I guess, the information in it fits with legalese now. But essentially, what's being proposed, and it's consistent with the agreement that we had with Genesis Equity regarding the relocation of Marion Iron, and then ultimately the construction of the roundabout on the former Marion Iron property. The area highlighted in yellow is the acquisition plat that is referred to. The area that is highlighted in the deep red is property that the city owns. And ultimately what's being proposed is that we would trade the yellow area for the deep red area. And that was all conditioned upon within the agreement that the city had with Genesis Equity at the time when they bought Marion Iron, relocated them, and acquired the property. I would point out that if the hatched area or the sketched on area, that's property that's currently owned by Genesis, so you can see why there is a desire for them to own the deep red area. It's their remnant pieces that were created by virtue of creating the right-of-way. They're portions of right-of-way that were vacated that are no longer being used. I would say with the exception of 26th Street, which is open to the public. One of the reasons, and I sent the purchase agreement to the council today as the draft of it is not signed by Genesis at this time. The Mayor, while the resolution does say he can execute that agreement, he cannot do that because we haven't held a public hearing on the sale of city-owned property. So really, it's the form of the resolution at this point that's being reviewed. We got to have the public hearing on the sale of city-owned property, which would happen on the 22nd. Between now and then, we would get an executed copy of the purchase agreement from Genesis to bring forward and have reviewed by the city council, and then directed to sign that agreement. So there'll be a solid purchase agreement with a signature on it for the next meeting. Are there questions regarding any of the transactions? Or the council's been briefed in the past on the vacation of the portion of 26th Street, and then this is actually a portion of 7th Avenue that is now gone. These three remnant pieces down here are portions of the former railroad property. And all of those have been platted by plat of survey to allow the transfer to occur. Ultimately, what would happen is these plats of surveys would be incorporated into plats as the property gets redeveloped. So we'll get a final plat for a property, and it'll incorporate all of the plats of surveys. So we get clean title, clean records, clean abstracting. Right now, many of these properties have, this property probably has, I don't know, 5 abstracts associated with it. I don't know how many of these have on them, but there's a lot of cleanup work. This property's been subdivided and developed multiple times over the last 150 years. So.
Any questions for Tom then on this?
So I guess you got me confused. So if we're not signing the purchase agreement yet, do we table this?
No, we would want to have the purchase agreement on being discussed in order to set the public hearing for the contemplation of the sale of city-owned property.
But if we're authorizing him to sign it now, the mayor pro tem, I guess, to sign it now.
I mean, you can't sign it until the public hearing's been held, or you could sign it. It couldn't be executed until, I guess that's the point. I would look at legal. It can be signed, it just can't be executed, and that's the resolution that's on the next agenda, is a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute the agreement. So.
That's what this says, to execute the purchase agreement.
I don't know, maybe we can amend that resolution.
Sorry, you got me confused here.
Well, the resolution on the Tuesday's agenda was different than today's, so it is a bit. So I would assume that we could amend the resolution to approve the purchase agreement instead of authorizing the mayor to execute it. That's what we've done in the past.
So that's what we need to do?
Basically approves the form of the purchase agreement.
But not the signature yet.
There you go.
Whatever you do, I don't want to live in Leavenworth for 10 years. However you do it.
I can
legally.
feel Ann breathing down my neck right now, and she's not even in the room. But that's what I would propose, is that we would amend the resolution to approve the purchase agreement.
Well, if we amend it, can we have can legal tell us exactly how we want to change this?
Sorry, man.
In a general sense, yes, legal can. Can this particular legal counsel sitting here at the table? No, I would have to refer that to Ann or to Kara, because I'm not involved in this phase.
Yeah, okay.
So I guess all we have to do is say, you amend it to approve the purchase contract with Genesis Equities. And just not say authorizing the mayor to execute the purchase contract.
Yeah.
Right?
Kind of makes you wonder, the next resolution.
Setting the hearing.
Correct.
That wording from Ann.
We're having a hearing, and the next resolution down.
But we need to approve the contract to do the hearing, you said.
Do the hearing, is that how it works?
That's as I understand it, yes.
Seemed like you'd have the hearing first, and then, I don't know.
That would make more sense.
Yeah.
So, Well, how do we want it to read then?
Can I propose that we add something to the effect that authorizing the mayor to execute following public hearing the purchase of?
I mean, my understanding was essentially that resolution was with the understanding that we did not have the signature from Genesis. And so it was authorizing the mayor or mayor pro tem to execute it, assuming we were able to get that signature.
Upon retaining signature?
Right.
So why don't we just
That
say that?
as drafted. So if we're talking about amending it, I would say that we would need, I don't know that from a legal standpoint you would necessarily want to authorize, if I understand you correctly, you're asking to authorize the mayor to amend it, or you're asking if we need to come back under a separate resolution to amend that?
I'm proposing that we leave the resolution as stated, but add to that for the mayor to execute following, adding verbiage to it, basically saying following signature of the purchase agreement.
Yes, I think that would be suitable because that's actually my understanding of what the purpose of that resolution was.
The other, I guess the one other question I was asked, if we can set the date of the hearing without a purchase agreement, which I think we can, we just not do the resolution and just set the date for the public hearing, and then we'll come back with the purchase agreement.
Correct.
Sure.
Let's do
So
that.
just table this?
I would.
So
Yep.
just table this
Yep.
then?
Yep.
Okay, do I have
Okay.
have a motion? Well, let's see. Yeah, we have a motion to table 26098.
I make a motion to table resolution number 26098 to.
Second.
Moved and seconded. So,
Do we need to set a when it's tabled to, though?
Yeah.
okay.
So the next meeting, which is what date?
We'll bring it back to the next meeting, but yeah.
For the next meeting.
Yeah.
I didn't know
Okay.
the date.
All those in favor of tabling resolution 26098 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Now, Mr. Draper.
Resolution 26099, directing publication of notice of hearing on June 22nd, 2017, regarding a proposed deposition of a my eyes aren't working, of a portion of the city-owned property located 25th Street, 29th Street, south of 8th Avenue and north of 5th Avenue.
Second.
Moved and seconded. And any more discussions on this item then? So after the public hearing, then we will come back and
We'll have-
vote on it then.
We'll have a fully executed purchase agreement.
Yes. Okay. Is that clear to everyone?
Yep.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Sorry for the confusion.
Just don't put me in Leavenworth.
And we'll make sure it's the mayor pro tem that's authorized to sign. So
Yeah. Okay, all those in favor of resolution 26099 signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed? Motion carries. Ms. Etzel.
I make a motion to approve resolution number 26100, approving a final plat and memorandum of agreement for Echo Ridge Estates, Second Edition, located north of Echo Hill Road and west of Albernet Road, Integrity Custom Homes.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion on this.
Why am I'm not remembering this one.
Tom, is this a second? I mean, we approved something last year for north of that. Is this a second development that's coming into that area?
yes, this is second addition to Echo Ridge Estates. This is north of Echo Hill Road.
Yeah.
Integrity Homes. I just spoke with him today. They've, I think they've only got three lots left in their first edition,
Really?
and they have a majority of their second edition that's on the agenda for approval. They have most of that spoken for, so they're really moving along quickly up in that area.
I mean, we just did that other one last fall.
Correct.
It's a little crazy out there.
I'll tell you, that's not to belabor the issue, but from a plating perspective, lots are hard to come by right now in Marion, and development ground is kind of slowing down. Like, there's not a lot of ground that's openly developable or for sale for development. So there's a lot of pressure out there right now in the real estate market. So.
Any other discussions then on this one? If not, all those in favor of resolution?
Oh, sorry. Do you have a map you could put up to show the second edition?
I do.
How many lots?
Oh, there it is.
Well, I'm going to paint a little picture with this just to show the council kind of what we're dealing with from a development perspective on a daily basis. This is just a good. So this is the intersection of Albernet Road and Echo Hill Road right here. So this is an aerial that was provided when I think this is, it's not showing it, but this is the aerial that we used, and it's directly off of Google Earth currently. This is the second edition that's being highlighted in red. So Google can't even keep up. This is already platted, improvements have made, and there's all but 3 lots left. So if you drive out there now, there's entire development that's occurred. So this is the preliminary plat for that area.
Holy smokes.
I believe there's 171 lots included in that area. So essentially that is from here, 80 acres. Okay? So that's where they're at. So they've developed, this is the second edition. So there's a lot of homes going in, a lot of lots being platted. Going quickly. So they're going to be halfway through that probably.
How's the south side? Is that filled up also?
Yeah, the south side's going well. This is the Skogman development. I'm drawing a blank on the name. Do you remember what the name of that is?
Prairie Trail.
Prairie Trail. They've only got a few lots left, I think.
They're in there.
Yeah. And then this is Dustin Kern's development, and it's going pretty strong too.
I had heard that this first edition, that there's some lots they haven't been able to build on because they're having water issues with runoff. Is that
Which edition?
this one?
The first.
Echo Ridge Estates first edition by the retention pond on the corner. I don't know if it's true or not.
I've not heard that. No.
I haven't either.
That all that area out there is pretty wet.
Right.
I know that some of the houses, it's either Skogman's or Dustin's, have at least one sump pump running quite a bit.
Yeah.
But that's typical for Marion as well.
Yeah.
Mine runs all the time.
We got a very high water table. But there's a lot of growth pressure out in this area, and obviously not at this meeting, but I would like to go through an exercise with the council at a work session to just kind of illustrate what we're looking at probably in the next year and 18 months in this vicinity, as well as out by Tower Terrace Road. It was mentioned earlier that the area south of Hunter's Ridge and east of 35th, that's all under control of developers now. 120 acres or more in that area. So there's going to be a lot of development coming forward in the next year to 18 months.
Where are we on the city limits where you build?
This is the city limits right here.
Stops right there, his.
Yeah. And this property is actually just recently broke free too. I don't know if you recall, but there was some issues with some platting, and we were holding up some things for legal reasons, and that's been, you'll see come through the council, there's been some plats and such that's going to allow that project to break free, and that's another, 40, 60 acres.
Okay. That answer all your questions? All right.
We're kind of busy.
Any others then? All those in favor of Resolution 26100 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Someone want to read number 5, please?
Make a motion to approve resolution number 26101, approving acquisition plat related to purchase of property located at 1514, 1540, and 1578 6th Avenue, Genesis Equity Properties.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Discussion on this? Everyone know where these are?
Oh, I'm trying to remember.
I'm sorry, were you the acquisition plat?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so this is
Parcel
for,
supply, yeah, I remember now. I'm good, we're good.
You good?
Yep.
Dave, were you in on that?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Very good. All right. Motion is 26101. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. I think I have one more. Yep, Mr. Brandt.
I make a motion to approve resolution number 26102, approving the purchase of property described as fee simple acquisition plat of parcel 5, a portion of property locally known as 1514, 1540, and 1578 6th Avenue, Marion, from Genesis Equities LLC in the amount of $1.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Big budget item here. Everyone know what this is?
Enhance our budget some,
Everyone good on this one? Okay, all those in favor of resolution 26102 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Nicholson.
Is Nick need back in?
He said to do 1 and 2 of this one.
Okay.
All right, I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution number 26103, approving the addendum to fixed base operator FBO lease agreement with Luxair Aviation.
Second.
Moved and seconded. This had to do with a letter, I believe, from Iowa DOT to...
Right. It's correcting.
Yeah,
what we
correcting
needed
some
to do.
language. So, did you get to see that, Dave? Or?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Any other questions then on this? Okay, resolution number 26103. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Draper.
Yes, Your Honor, Resolution 26104, approving a memorandum of understanding regarding the tax increment financing, TIF incentives for Mojo Properties, LLC.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Discussion on this one.
Did it change from what we got in
No,
the email?
nothing changed from the Tuesday presentation. What's being proposed is $280,000 or 10 years worth of increment, whichever one comes first.
Okay. Any other questions or discussion? Okay, resolution 26104. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Amanda, would you get the mayor back? Oh, there he is. Great
Got spidey
timing.
sense.
Just in time for a public hearing.
At this time, we have a public hearing regarding proposed sale of public property near 3rd Avenue and 44th Street, Marion, legally described as Lot 2, Industrial Center East, 11th Addition, to the City of Marion. Public hearing is now open. As a brief recap for...
Sure. This is the final of the 4 lots that was originally purchased by the city for fiber right, and so this is the sale of the 4th and final lot in the amount of $260,981 to KTRO.
Okay. Is anyone here to speak in favor of this sale of public property? None? Anyone here to speak against the sale of public property to KTRO? Okay, the public hearing is now closed.
Your Honor, I make a motion to approve resolution number 26105, approving the sale of public property located near 3rd Avenue and 44th Street, Marion, Iowa, and legally described as Lot 2, Industrial Center, East 11th Addition to the City of Marion, Lynn County, Iowa.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 26105, approving the sale of public property located near 3rd Avenue and 44th Street, legally described as Lot 2, Industrial Center, East 11th Edition. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. Motion passes.
Yes, Your Honor, I move to approve Resolution 26106, authorizing the execution of short-term debt to fund economic development activities.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 26106, authorizing execution of short-term debt to fund economic development activities. Discussion.
Made sense. This was the memo we got today.
Okay.
You got it? You got it? Did you get it?
He's asking about the memo that we got.
The email we got today?
Yeah, we got a memo. It's moving some money around.
Further discussion? All those in favor of resolution number 26106, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. Motion passes.
Make a motion to approve ordinance number 17-16, designated an area of Marion, Iowa as the 2017 Workforce Housing Urban Revitalization Area. Second consideration.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve ordinance number 17-16, designating the 2017 Workforce Housing Urban Revitalization Area. Discussion. This is the second consideration. No discussion? All those in favor of the motion to approve ordinance number 17-16, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no.
Your Honor, I recommend
Motion passes.
we suspend the rules and go to the third and final consideration of 1716.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to suspend the rules and move to the final consideration of ordinance number 17-16. A discussion on suspending the rules and approving the final consideration. Okay. We'll vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, please say no. The motion passes and final consideration is approved.
Your Honor, I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution number 26107, approving city manager pay for performance.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 26107, approving city manager pay for performance. Discussion? All those in favor of resolution number 26107, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. Motion passes. Council discussion time.
Okay, as normal, I do have a couple of things. I talked to Councilman Pazur today. She had her stitches out yesterday, so she is doing well. Thinks she might, in fact, make the meeting on the 22nd, so that would be a great step forward. You that don't know, she had hip replaced. Something that's kind of dear to my heart, and it's going to happen on the 18th, Sunday the 18th. My church, the First Presbyterian Church, is celebrating our 175th anniversary this year. And we are going to meet at 610 10th Street, which is the site of the original church building. And a portion of that building, the 4 brick thick walls, are part of that original church. And we do have one pew I found in the basement, believed to be used by the Presbyterians. So we're going to have an outdoor old-fashioned revival, and our minister is going to preach off the back porch. We're encouraging everybody and anybody who would like to come to bring a lawn chair. It should be a real fun day. We're moving from there to the depot where we will have lunch. And I had a couple other things I want to talk about, Mayor, if I could. I always like to do a little bit of history. And last week I made mention of the first bar in Marion, which was a log cabin in the 1860s. Well, I'd like to move forward as far as 1919, when Prohibition came into force and put all the bars out of business. And it started actually in the 13s with 5 or 6 votes, and finally 35 states ratified it. So they were able to put all of the bars and the saloons and beer makers and what have you out of business, basically, they thought. They had, in the Chiefs part of the country particularly, if you've ever watched the Dukes of Hazzard, we had a number of rum runners or bootleggers who developed very fast cars. And the word shade tree mechanic come about because they would take them up the street and they would take those cars and spring them up heavier, make them actually an old Ford V8 motor. They could take up to almost 300 horsepower. So the bootleggers knew the highways. They'd travel at night, many times without lights. The police were unable to find or catch them, and this went on for many a year. Well, you can imagine that these guys kind of sat around in bed who had the fastest car. And so on Sunday, they devised some racing of these cars. Well, there weren't any real race tracks, but there were some flat horse tracks, much like we had at Indian Creek Country Club when they had the half-mile track out there. So they raced around for a while, and then in 1933, Prohibition ended. So they worked their way into some racetracks, and the problems they came into is that a lot of the mayors and the local police, didn't want the bootleggers racing in the races. They considered them hoodlums, you know. Well, they had a fellow by the name of Big Bill France in 1947 who had a meeting of all these drivers, mechanics, and owners and organized an organization called the National Association of Stock Car Racing, or NASCAR. So NASCAR is a direct descendant of Prohibition, and some of their early drivers, particularly Benny Parsons and Junior Johnson, were the first class that went into the NASCAR Hall of Fame, and they had in there a still, and Junior Johnson showed them how to run it. So the largest spectator sport in the United States would not exist had we not had Prohibition. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you.
Well, this afternoon we went and saw the ribbon cutting out at Legacy Manufacturing, and while we were there, they announced expansion. Was it 200? Was it 200,000 square feet, Nick? Yeah.
Potentially.
200,000 square foot addition to the back end of that building. So they've only been in that building like a year or less than a year, and they've already kind of doubled the size of it. That's just truly amazing. And a reminder again for the Uptown Market this weekend, and the council will be in the library, so we'll add personas to the library foyer. Is that what we call it there? All right. And then I'll put my plug in for Wednesday in the Ward next week at, well, I wrote it down, Wilkins School at 5:30. So come out for a good time.
Paul said what I was going to say, so I'm
Well, you could bootleg off of it.
Well, I just apologize for getting late here today. I had a fun time with auditors at the office today, and I didn't get out as quickly as I wanted to, so I apologize for coming late to the meeting, so.
You're excused.
Okay, for my part, I just want to recognize the barbecue rendezvous last weekend, which I think was very successful. I believe that was a fundraiser this year for the Miracle Field at the Prospect Meadows, so a very good fundraiser. Last week I attended the ribbon cutting for the Unity Point facility, which expanded on the east side of the Central Corridor. That was a very well attended event, and again they said that the Marion facility is their busiest in the entire region and one of the busiest in the Unity Point system. They saw almost 37,000 patients that last year walked through that door. So they needed to expand, and they were happy to expand in Marion. Today, as Joe mentioned, we were at the ribbon cutting for Legacy Manufacturing. If you haven't seen it, it's a beautiful facility, and it's always good to see a local company that started here 20 years ago grow and expand in the community, and create more jobs and create more prosperity in our community. And as Joe mentioned, at the ribbon cutting of their facility, they announced the next expansion, which is always a great deal, a great thing for the city. Thank you to Medco for working with them and everyone else who's helped on that project from the city's standpoint. A lot of great things going on. I've been attending a lot of ribbon cuttings and grand openings. It seems like every week there's at least one going on. So there's a lot of great things going on in the city. We've got great momentum going on. Just encourage everyone to keep up the good work, keep reaching higher, keep pushing for better quality, and for people to give their best to Marion. You see the storefronts in Uptown are filling up. There are people that keep saying, "Oh, the storefronts are empty." They're filling up. We're getting new businesses in there. I've heard of a couple more that are coming. So things are looking good. We all need to continue to give each other the benefit of the doubt, treat each other with kindness, and think about the greater interest of the community in everything that we do. So thank you. Have a good week.